Hello everyone, my name is Ankit Raksajati. In this video, I'm going to present you an overview of compressor types in the Fluid Mechanics and Particle course. So, the function of a compressor is to reduce the gas volume and to increase the gas pressure, as in compression process. During the process, the temperature of the gas and the density is increased. This is what we know as the compressible effect. So that's the difference between compression in liquid and in gas. In liquid, the temperature and the density during the compression will not increase significantly, but that will not be observed in the compression of a gas. In terms of the classification, it's quite similar to a classification of a pump. We can have a PD pump. Now we can have a PD compressor, and that can be divided into reciprocating and a rotary compressor. So like a piston or two gears moving in the opposite directions. And we can have a continuous flow that can be achieved using a radial flow such as a centrifugal compressor, axial flow such as an axial compressor, or even a mixed flow. So how does a centrifugal compressor work? This is the components that is typically observed in a centrifugal compressor. You have an inlet of the nozzle where the fluid coming in into the compressor, and then you have a fan. This is to distribute the gas evenly, and then you have the first stage impeller. The impeller will rotate and it is attached to a shaft. Because of the rotation of the impeller, the energy will be converted from the kinetic energy of the impeller to the pressure of the outlet gas. And then we will have also a diffuser. This is a diffuser. The diffuser is to convert the kinetic energy of the fluid into a potential energy or a pressure. And then after the diffuser, we can have the second stage or even the third stage of the compressor, depending on the discharge pressure required by the process. And when it leaves, it will leave at the end of the compressor using the outlet nozzle. Similarly to a centrifugal pump, we also have a compressor curve for a centrifugal type, where we can have the x-axis expressed as an inlet volume flow, in this case is CFM or cubic foot per minute, and then in the y-axis we have the isentropic head. In terms of it is expressed in British unit. And then we also have a different curve inside of the curve. One curve represents one efficiency. For example, this one is for 80% efficiency, and then the outer one will be for 78% efficiency, and then the outer will be for 75%, and then up until 65%. And for this specific compressor, it can be operated from the slowest RPM from 10,000 to 15,000 RPM, or even 15,700 RPM. So how to read this curve? It's similar to how to read a pump curve. So let's say you have 1600 CFM, and then you operate using the 14,000 RPM, then you will get around 29 head generated with efficiency around 80% something. The different things between the compressor curve and the pump curve is now you will have to very careful look at the left extreme and the right extreme of the curve. At the left extreme, there is a surge limit. So below the surge limit, it will cause violent airflow oscillating in the axial direction of a compressor, which indicates the axial component of fluid velocity varies periodically and may even become negative. So it will not generate the expected pressure, and it could even risk or damage the compressor itself. That's too low of the volume flow rate. To prevent that, usually in more detail, we will have to install some bypass or even some anti-surge valve. We will talk about that later in the class. At the right extreme, there will be a line or area that we know as the stone wall limit. Above this stone wall limit, the compressor will not be able to generate sufficient head. So even though, let's say we inject 3000 CFM into this compressor, but the pressure generated will not be very observed significantly. So let's move on into the second type of compressor. This is axial compressor. It is used at application with low differential pressure and high flow rates. So contrary to centrifugal compressor, the axial flow compressor do not change the direction of the gas. So let's say in this picture, if it enters to the right direction, it will always goes to the right direction until it reach the end of the compressor. Different with the centrifugal, where it change the direction of the fluid because of the rotation of the impeller. For a typical application, it is to compress the air intake of gas turbine. It could be used for a multi-stage axial compressor, let's say from 1 bar to 4 bar and then next to 16 bar. That means that's 2 stages compressors, and each stage typically consists of a rotor and a stator. A rotor is a set of rotating blades whose role is to accelerate the gas flow. A stator is a set of stationary blades whose role is to convert the velocity energy gain in the rotor to pressure energy. So similar to impeller and diffuser combination in the centrifugal compressor. So this is the example of a quite big axial compressor. And then the rotary compressor, as you can see, you will have 2 gears rotating at different directions. So work similarly to a rotary pump. They suck the fluid in and then squeeze out, and then the pressure increase because of the energy converted from the kinetic energy of the gears to the fluid itself. In general, this is accomplished by elements such as gears, loops, fans, or screws moving in such a way as to expand volumes to allow fluid to enter the compressor. These volumes are then contained by the compressors until the element move in such a way as to reduce the volume and force fluid out of the compressor. And then let's move on to the other type of the compressor. This is PD or positive displacement compressor, specifically reciprocating compressor, similar to how a reciprocating pump or even a piston works. So the gas will be sucked into the chamber when the piston moves into the left direction, and then when the piston moves in opposite direction, it will push the gas at the higher pressure. In summary, this is the table comprising different types of compressor with its advantages and disadvantages. This is coming from a reference from Fuller Daniel. So you can read and study and understand more detail. We will talk about it in the class. So for axial compressor, it's high efficiency, very high flow, heavy duty, but the disadvantages is low compression ratio. So let's say if we want to compress from 1 to 10 bar, that is unlikely to be observed in one stage axial compressor. For centrifugal compressor, high range of design capacity, that means small flow rate, high flow rate, intermediate flow rate, you can get a lot of different options. Heavy duty and low maintenance design, good compression ratios, typically around 4 for one stage of centrifugal compressor, and good capacity regulation. The disadvantages, low efficiency at lower flow rate because they have a curve as we talked earlier, and then it's sensitive to change in process gas molecular weight. And then anti-surge protection is required to prevent surging. And then this is for the PD or the reciprocating compressor. Wide range of compression ratio, so this is like the opposite of the axial and the centrifugal compressor. You will be able to find reciprocating compressor up to maybe 10 to 11 or even 12 compression ratio. That means from 1 to 12 bar within one single stage. That's possible, but there will be some disadvantages, such as the heavy foundation required for unbalanced force and moments, and it causes line pressure pulsation, which must be attenuated. For reciprocating, it is also has a high efficiency, but disadvantages, the maintenance is intensive compared to the centrifugal and the axial, and low speed drivers required for large machines. For the screw compressor, it is more limited compared to the reciprocating and the centrifugal, but it has wide range of application, great use in refrigeration. Oil flooded screws have good efficiency, and then 10 to 100% load range with slide valve. That means it's flexible. One equipment can handle small to high flow rate fit. In terms of the disadvantages, the dry screw is subject to catastrophic failure if screws touch, and leakage losses between rotors give poor efficiency or even some hazard if the leak is toxic. And then for shaft seals is required, oil flooded units require oil separation and equipment. Okay, so that's the end of this video. We will talk about it later in the class. Thank you.